Hey everybody, I'm Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks. Gen X Thinks Live, Thursday morning. How's everything going this morning, everybody? And today, as I wait for people to start showing up and getting into the conversation, I've been thinking about that whole Mandela effect thing again. Because I don't know about you, but I know a lot of people who remember Ed McMahon being part of that whole, that giveaway thing, whatever that was called, where that sweepstakes thing, Publishers Clearinghouse thing. I remember that very specifically. Bucky, Oliver Rust, Dog Karma, God's Warrior. What's up, everybody? Glad y'all could make it. And I also remember the Fruit of the Loom cornucopia very specifically. Now, the thing is, some of these things, there's a whole list now of these Mandela effect things, right? And some of them I remember the way the Mandela effect says they were, like the whole GIF, because of that commercial, Choosy Moms Choose GIF. That's the way I remember it. So that's the way I don't remember Jiffy, and that's not the way I remember it. But I remember the cornucopia. I remember Ed McMahon with the Publishers Clearinghouse thing. He'd show up to people's doors and shit. And very specifically. So that makes me wonder, what the hell is going on with that shit. Zombie, Mr. Hurst, what's up? Laic, good morning, Laic. Shannon, good morning. Tim Beck, what's going on? Glad to see y'all here. Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about. We'll see where the conversation goes. But, I'm wondering about the Mandela effect. Yeah, Tim Beck, some of it is. Some of it is. Some of it's just made, people make shit up. Just like the GIF and the Jiffy thing, right? I mean, I specifically remember it the way, whatever you want to call it, the Mandela effect way, the mainstream presentation of it. Choosy Moms Choose GIF. That's in my memory, But so is the cornucopia. I remember looking at it, and I have a very specific reason, because I played Dungeons and Dragons, and in Dungeons and Dragons, a cornucopia is called a Horn of Plenty, and I remember looking at that years ago on the tag of my Fruit of the Looms shirt, and I say, hey, that's the Horn of Plenty from Dungeons and Dragons. I didn't call it a cornucopia, but I was like, I know that thing. I know what that is. So I have that memory locked in it. I remember the room I was in. I remember that, right? Like it was yesterday. That happened. I'm not making that shit up. So that cornucopia was there. And, and I just knew this as a fact for years. And then all of a sudden they're saying there is no cornucopia. There never was a cornucopia. Well, I know that is bullshit. I know that for a fact, because I saw the cornucopia with my own eyes, and I linked it to another experience which burned it in my brain, right? So I just wonder what would be the motive for that. What is that? I mean, I've heard the theories about, and they're cool, they're interesting. Maybe the timeline got shifted because of an apocalypse. Maybe the timeline got shifted. Is that it? Is that the reason for the Mandela effect, Or are they just screwing with us? Deleting shit from the internet for maybe for some other reasons, and scrubbing the internet of things, and then just lying to us about what actually happened, and the real reason they're doing it is, deep, military secrets or some shit like that. Jeff7, what's up, dude? Glad to see you here, man. Tripwire, hey, there he is. Cornucopia is from the Odyssey? Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember it from Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, yeah, that Shannon, that happened to us a while back. We had this really great cat, and one day she was just gone. She was about the same age, and we never saw her again. So I don't know. I think that it was just that time for us. I'm not saying that about your cat. I hope she comes back, but yeah, that's I think that's a thing cats do when it's their time. And that sucks. That was, yeah, we looked for her for a while, and yeah, that might be it, God's Warrior. Maybe they're just, it's an experiment to see how much they can get away with, how much they can defraud us, how gullible we are, what's the gullibility percentage in the population now, how many of these fools are going to believe this shit, how far can we push things, right? Maybe that's the long and short of it. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, hopefully she shows back up, Shannon. So I know losing pets is so hard, yeah. But whether you lose them, even just losing them temporarily is hard. We got our little, a little dog. He's named after Wile E. Coyote. His name's Wiley. And he was on the back porch, and he snuck under something because I got some stuff on the back porch, but the door was open. I left the door open, so I thought he got out. I was in a panic, running around looking for him and shit, and he was on the porch the whole time. He never left the porch. Yeah, but yep, I was in a panic looking for his little ass. But yeah, hopefully she comes back. But you got to be prepared, because that's the way cats. Oh, so she's still in the house somewhere? Okay. If she's still in the house somewhere, then maybe she just, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, Tim Beck. Yeah, they manipulate perception. Yeah, I think they do experiments on the population at large, you know what I mean? Psychological experiments, manipulating perception and stuff like that. It might be just an experiment. But yeah, losing pets is tough. We just lost 2 dogs last year, and we were really, we love the hell out of those dogs, and it's difficult getting over that. And I've read some articles about that, how sometimes losing a dog is more difficult than losing a person, because a dog gives you, or a pet gives you unconditional love, without reservation, just loves you like, nothing else on this planet. And when you lose that, it can be even more difficult than losing a person sometimes. So yeah, that shit's hard. I don't fault anyone for getting torn up when they lose a pet. Yeah. Weird shit and baffling policies started in 2008. Yep. Yeah, zombie. Yeah, I honestly believe they're screwing with us for some reason. The conversation is just, basically just the reason. I mean, we can debate some things, the GIF and the Jiffy and some of these Berenstain Bears, whatever. Does Curious George have a tail and all that shit? We can debate a lot of that stuff. But like I said, a couple of them are set firmly in my mind. I have very vivid memories that are locked in because they're attached to something else, right? So I can't change my mind on that stuff. And my memory is not infallible. I don't have an eidetic memory. I can't say, back in, 1984, I was here or whatever. I forget a lot of shit. I'm not going to lie. I don't have a truly amazing memory or anything. I figure it's average or slightly below average, maybe, my memory. So, I know I can misremember things. So I'm not one to lock onto a memory or something and say I remember something this way and just keep that idea in a stranglehold, because I know I could be wrong, So that's why a lot of these Mandela effects, I just, I'm on shaky ground with them, because I'm not 100% sure that my memory is the correct one. I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure. So even if I remember it one way and this new way that they're saying seems odd, I can't 100% say that the way I remember it is correct. Now, except in a couple instances, like the cornucopia, right? I am 100% positive I remember that correctly. There's no doubt in my mind. So yeah, post-truth era, Tim Beck. Yeah, 5th gen warfare. Yeah, Bohemian Grove. That was messed up. How many of y'all have seen Alex Jones' video when he went into Bohemian Grove? You're burning this shit. All right, Shannon. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I suspect, Tim, with the cat, because that's what our cat did. I don't know why cats do that, but when it's their time, they just kind of wander off. I don't know if that's, some people need closure, and that would be a bad thing, for the cat to wander off like that and go away on its own. But that's it. I don't know. In my experience, that's just the way cats are sometimes. Not all of them, but it's not uncommon. We had it happen to us. So, but, I mean, it worked out well for us, as far as, we kind of built up to the idea that she was gone, instead of going out there and finding her. So, yeah, the Looney Tunes thing. Yep, that's another one. But the whole government conspiracy thing, that I just can't shake that stuff. All that stuff I hear, anything with any question or shade to it, I always, not every time 100%, but it's always kind of in the back of my mind, is that the government playing games with us, you know. Artiste, what's up? Glad you caught us live, man. Yeah, Bucky, the average person can believe what they want, but do not believe that very powerful people want total control is willful ignorance. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. Uh, just common sense. If I, just in my house, I'm sitting here, I'm in my house, I've got everything I need, I've just ate breakfast, had me a nice cup of coffee, it's a Saturday morning, whatever, I'm off work, I don't have anything to do, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I'm not going to sit here and just stare at the walls bored. Maybe I've watched every DVD I have. I don't want to watch DVDs right now. What am I going to do? Maybe I'll mess with the dogs. Maybe because I kind of consider myself an amateur PSYOP specialist because I perform, PSYOP operations on our dogs. My wife gets mad because I'll tell the dogs all kind of crazy shit, and she I don't know if she actually believes it, but she'll play along with me they understand what you're saying, don't say that. But I'll tell the dogs, they're going to the pound, and they're bad dogs and all that stuff, but not in a harsh voice, just playing around with them and stuff, and they're wagging their tails, I don't literally torture the dogs. I just it's all verbal and fun and games, but yeah, I do psyops on the dogs and shit. So my point in that is that, okay, what if you're a multi-trillionaire, right? And you're bored, okay? And your buddy's over there, he's messing with countries and shit, right? That's his little chess pieces or countries. Yeah, oh yeah, I'm over there in Uganda, and I, check this shit out. I stirred up this damn civil war over there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just out of complete boredom. That would be a temptation, just to try to control people, and they might literally be playing chess with the countries of the world. Literally, they might or Axis and Allies or something, or what's that, Risk? They might have a global map in this big room somewhere where they're playing, and they got their color pieces, and that's that could be real. That could be a thing. I wouldn't put it past them. You know what I mean? Why not? If you're that mega rich and you got nothing better to do, what are you going to do? Buy another Ferrari? I'm tired of driving my Ferraris, dude. That shit was so, 1990s. Us racing around in the Ferraris and shit. We did that in our 20s. Let's do something cool now, man. Let's come up with some vaccines and shit. Let's do something real. I got this virus that's being cooked up in China or Ukraine or some shit like that. What happened if I just, let that thing go? You know what I'm saying? What do you think would happen? I don't know. I'll bet you $1 that people will wear masks and stand on little painted footsteps on the damn grocery store floor. Oh, no, hell no, people won't do that. Well, let's find out. Bet $1. You know what I mean? Put your money where your mouth is. Like some Trading Places type of shit. That's closer to the truth, I think, than a lot of people actually believe. No, who said that? Cats are the coolest. Okay. I got a Chihuahua that would argue that with you. Yeah, Chihuahua named Wiley. Wiley, he's my buddy. I need to bring him up here and introduce y'all to him one of these days. Yeah. Whenever I think of doing that, I think of him like, like that. I've got an imagination. This whole thing plays through my head, and like, remember, was it Young Guns or Young Guns 2, where Billy the Kid, Emilio Estevez, whistles at that dude? Yoo-hoo, I'll make you famous. That's what, like, Wiley's gonna make me famous with his mug. Liminal spaces? Never heard of that artiste. Yeah. All right, God's Warrior. Chihuahua. Yeah, Chihuahua. Yeah, Tim Beck. No, I've never heard of liminal spaces. I'm going to have to check that out. No, I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what that is. I have to look that up. Yeah. Maybe that'd be a good topic for a episode of Gen X Thinks. All right, tell Yara good morning for us, zombie. Yeah, liminal spaces. Well, I get. Oh man, I don't. If I had my tablet here, I'd look it up and tell everybody. I didn't bring any gadget with me to look shit up. But all that stuff is back rooms. No, I still don't understand that. I've got a back room. I'll have to look it up, I guess. Maybe we'll do a whole episode on liminal spaces. Oh, okay. They are empty shopping malls like retro 80s thumbnails that are vacant, mysteriously vacant. Okay, liminal spaces are between real and unreal and beyond. Okay. Artiste just learned about back rooms. Portals to empty worlds. No, I don't know what the hell. I mean, I've never heard any of this stuff before. No, the back room was the room in the back of my house. It's a back room. That's the only word the only time I've ever heard that phrase or that room, that word together, back room. I've never heard it. Never heard of liminal spaces before at all, and never heard it in conjunction with the word back room. So no, I'm gonna have to look into that. Is it too late to fix stupid? Yeah. That's one of my favorite shirts. We can fix stupid, but it's gonna hurt. Yeah. Cane pixels? Alright. Cane pixels. Okay. Let me see. I gotta write this shit down. Y'all are throwing all this knowledge at me. I'm so ignorant sometimes. Where I got some space here. Okay. Liminal spaces. And Shannon said what? Now I gotta find what Shannon said there. Clipping into back rooms. Cane pixels, okay. Alright. Looking that shit up. Maybe we'll do an episode on it. If it's fascinating. Which it sounds like it is. Yeah, Wiley, our little... Oh, it's a channel. Okay. Wiley, the little dog, his love language is anger and violence. he, he growls all the time. My wife will go to pet him and he'll growl. He'll just be laying there, looking like he's relaxed and in a good mood and shit. She'll go to pet him and he'll growl and she'll get all hurt. Well, Wiley, I love you. My baby and all that. And I'll tell her, that's his love language. He's an angry guy. Mike Fleisner, my boy. What's up, Mike? We're talking about all kinds of crazy shit, dude. Liminal spaces, backdoors into different realities and shit, Mandela effects, pets, cats and dogs. Yeah, I did. I built a small home, yep. It started out to be a tiny house, but it kind of swelled up into a small home. Yeah. All right, Lake. Goodbye, man. Thank you for showing up. Just another guy in the woods. Go check out his YouTube channel if y'all have a minute. But yeah, all that stuff is teeth and growls, Tim Beck. That's Wiley's love language. He's a little angry guy, and the funniest thing about him, I swear, this cracks me up. Me relating it to you won't be as funny as him in action. Maybe I'll try to make a short of it. Maybe I'll try to get him on video and show y'all. Berenstain, yeah. That's one of the Mandela effects. Yeah, we whatevered ourselves into an alternate reality. Yeah, zombie. But yeah, Wiley, you give him a treat or even his food dish. He won't eat that shit. He just won't eat it. He'll just sit there and stare at the wall, and just, until I gotta act like it's mine, like I'm trying to eat it, right? When I act like I'm trying to eat it, then he gets to take it away from me, and then he'll eat, right? A cookie, one of them little dog bone-shaped cookies, give him a cookie, he'll just sit there until I try to take it, and then he gets mad, and he'll eat it. It's the funniest shit on the planet, dude. Watching him do that, and he's like this big, you know what I mean? He's just a tiny little dog, but he's a fistful of fury. Yeah, he's awesome. Dead Wolf Resistance, what's up, dude? Glad to see you here, man. Glad you could make it. You jump timelines on occasion? Yeah, I'm afraid I might have done that accidentally a couple times, because I had a whole decade just vanish. Poof, gone. Sayonara. I'm looking around like, what the hell? where did I thought it was 2000s. What the hell? What happened? Yeah, that's probably the fastest decade for me, was 2000 to 2010. That shit just was gone. Yeah, honey badger. Yep. Mr. Yellowface. That's a good name. Yeah, pets are awesome. I wouldn't want to do without a pet. I'm one of those guys that always have a dog or two or three, whatever. Pets are awesome. Oh yeah, that's maybe okay. Yeah, we'll do that for the Halloween episode, Artiste. Yeah, that's a good idea, dude. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that will be a good idea. I'll do some research on that and dig off into that a little bit, and that'll be our Halloween episode. I'm gonna do an extra Halloween episode. I think it's tomorrow, right? Yeah. So tomorrow, I don't usually do a live stream Friday evenings, but tomorrow I'm going to, a Halloween episode. So y'all can look forward to that. we'll get on here and you know how we do bullshit, talk about anything. But I'll have some cool what is it? Liminal spaces. I'll have some cool info on liminal spaces, and we'll dig off into that. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, those honey badgers are incredibly smart, and they're just vicious. The I love those kind of animals. The honey badger is just awesome. That thing will go out of its way to fight a lion. Yeah, just to prove that the lion, that it ain't the king of the jungle. It just, no, this ain't happening. That lion ain't walking by over there and just hassle free with all the hyenas and everything running away from it. No, I'm gonna go get me some of that. And he'll just veer over there and tackle a damn lion. What the hell, dude? Those things are just awesome. And I've already told y'all the story a couple times about that one they had in the enclosure, and it kept escaping to get into the lion's enclosure to fight the lion. It didn't escape for freedom, it escaped to fight because it wanted to engage in war with a freaking lion. You gotta love the honey badger, dude. You just have to. You don't have a choice. You gotta love the honey badger. Oh, okay. Sorry to hear that, Trip. Hope everything's going all right, man. Oh, yeah. Planet of the Apes. That was an awesome one. Yeah, you're right, God's Warrior. Yeah, I love honey badgers. Every time I watch a documentary and it's about honey badgers and stuff, and they have honey badgers in there, yeah, it's just awesome. I love watching those things. 21 grams. That sounds familiar. Rubbing some dirt on it. Yeah, zombie. Oh, okay. Oh, damn. Damn, I'm sorry to hear that, Trip. Damn. Life's a bitch sometimes, and there's just no getting the hell around it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Well, you have our condolences, Trip. Sorry to hear that, man. Genuinely, I'm sorry to hear that, dude. We're here for you, bro. We're here for you. Uh, yeah, there's not a whole lot to say, when stuff like that happens, man. It's just, but hopefully getting in with the gang and can take your mind off it for a little bit, at least, divert your attention for a little bit, Trip. I hope. Uh, if there's anything we can do, email me, Trip, if I can help in any way. Would do whatever we can to make your day a little easier, dude. I hate to hear that, man. Yeah, seriously, you have my condolences, Trip. So, yeah, well, that that is something that most of us, if not all of us, have had to come to terms with throughout our lives. Gen X. One of the things that, yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, that's something. Hopefully you'll get some justice. Hopefully. Us Gen Xers, that's part of our whole experience has been loss. And that's the thing about it. That doesn't make it any easier. The next one is just as hard as the one before. I don't know what. Nothing really makes it any easier. But we were forged in those fires of of struggle, loss, self-reliance. It's just who we are, and we a lot of times we've only had each other to lean on, right? Nobody wanted to hear it. Nobody wanted to nobody wanted us emoting around them and all that shit. Suck it up and drive on, type of thing. I know that's how it was growing up for me. 8 years old, and experience a loss like that, and nobody, your dad didn't want to hear you crying and shit. So, but the thing is that the only thing is living through that kind of stuff is that you learn that you can. You learn that you can survive it. You learn that you can go on, even through that pain, right? Because you've done it before. So there's not really, it never gets easier. That doesn't make anything easier, but at least that experience tells you that you are strong enough to persevere. And that's the thing that us Gen Xers, we can identify with and relate to across the spectrum, across the board of Gen X. Who is that? Mountain Old Timer show up? How's it going, Mountain Old Timer? Oh yeah, Tim Beck. Ferrets, yeah. Seemed like everybody had a ferret back then. Minks and gophers. Well, we love you too, Trip. You're part of our Gen X family, dude. Damn, it's just, we all feel it, man. Of course, not nearly to the degree that you do. I'm not, we're not flower children and shit but we share your pain, dude. We understand. We've all been through, if not that exact thing, something similar. And we all know, we know that there are no words, dude. Because when it happened to us, there were no words. You know what I mean? It just sucks, man. I hate it for you, Trip. And I wish I could fly to Australia and be there for you, dude. Seriously. But yeah, that's a tough one, and that's even you say shit like that. Oh, that's tough. That's hard. That's difficult. I mean, and the words do not even come close. But we do what we can. Well, thanks, old timer. Thanks for showing up and saying good morning. We appreciate it. Yeah, it's good to have you here, man. Seriously, good to have you here. We were talking about Mandela effect and what is it? Liminal space. I'm going to do an episode tomorrow, a Halloween episode, and we'll talk about liminal space because I have no idea what it is. They tried to explain it to me here, but I kind of understand. I kind of have an idea, a general vague idea of what they're talking about, but I'm gonna do some research on it and read up on it and talk about it in a little more depth tomorrow kind of a weird, spooky Halloween episode. I don't know how spooky it'll be, but it'll be a cool thing for Halloween. Joe P, what's up? Glad to see you here, Joe P. Glad you can make it. Yeah, we're here for Trip. If we can ease his burden a little bit, maybe ease his mind a little bit, that, then hell, this is worth it, Our little group here, yeah. Yeah, zombie group hug. Yeah. Pecker up, yeah. That's, like I said, that's the Gen X way. We know we'll survive, and just like when we were kids, a lot of times my brothers and sisters and my friends, that's all I had, other younger kids, and we were like raising each other. I can't speak for everybody, every Gen Xer, but that is the environment that I grew up in. We kind of raised each other more than our parents raised us. And so this is kind of reminiscent of that. I don't know Tripp's entire family situation and stuff, but I know he's got us here, and that kind of reminds me of me growing up back in the day. I would have, my friends and my siblings, my age group, when there was no one else, So, that I always thought that was a really cool thing. Yeah, no, when it's a child, yeah, it's multiplied times 1,000 when it's your actual child. But when it's a child that and you're it's hard. So no. Oh, you out of here, Bucky? All right. Be cool, buddy. Have a good day, man. I'm glad you could drop by. Yeah, what, now I'm trying to remember. We were talking about that Mandela effect shit. Back to that. I honestly believe that there's some kind of something deeper going on, you know what I mean, under the current of media and society. I'm not one of these people who would jump up here and say that it's an absolute fact and all this shit, because I don't know. Obviously I don't know. I'm not privy to that shit. And even I think that, agents employing this shit don't know. They're just following the last order that they got. They don't know why they're doing it and don't give a shit, But I honestly think that there's something deeper, a couple more levels down that's happening underneath the surface, beneath our awareness. With the pandemic, and that really seemed like a test to me. Testing our willpower, our fortitude, our level of obedience as a as a population, at the population level. Just too much shit was contradictory during that time. And too many people were saying contradictory shit that just did not make sense. The whole, you got to get vaccinated to protect me, even though I'm triple, quadruple vaccinated. You're evil if you don't get vaccinated. So, why did I get vaccinated? If me getting vaccinated did not help me in any way, did not protect me or my family in any way, why the hell did I get vaccinated? Why would anyone get vaccinated? How does that make sense that everyone else has to be vaccinated to protect you? The rest of the population of the world needs to be vaccinated in order to protect me. That does not make sense. But people believe that shit. So in my entire lifetime up until then, you got the polio vaccine to protect yourself from polio. Yourself, not everyone else. You know what I mean? You didn't get vaccinated for the rest of the population of the planet. You got vaccinated for yourself. So that just smacks of deep state psyop shit. And like I said, I could be wrong. I don't know this shit for a fact, but there has been so much stuff now that has happened, and us nowadays in this age of information, we can share information with each other at almost the speed of light. You know what I'm saying? I mean, some shit can happen to me today, at lunch today, and I can come on here and live stream, and y'all will know about it in just a matter of hours. So that's important, and that is, I believe, one of the reasons why a lot of this stuff is coming to light now. Because once that stuff is pointed out, why does everybody else need to get vaccinated to protect me? Now you might think about that. You might never have considered that before, but now you might think about it. Yeah, you're right. That does not make sense. Why were they doing that? Why on earth were they doing that? We don't know. And these things that we don't know are a lot of the times the things that end up biting you in the ass. Yeah. And then now they come out with, that the vaccines, there were vaccine injuries and all this stuff, right? And as it turns out, more people were harmed by the vaccines than were harmed by not taking the vaccines. And everything that I've read, the CDC website and shit, they come up and they give the numbers and stuff and all this stuff, and it's insane. So what was it? Not to mention the fact that they've been working for like hundreds of years trying to cure cancer and, the common cold, the flu, all these different diseases. I can run off a list of 20 or 30 probably, and they've been trying to cure these things and create vaccines for these things, and no, there's no vaccine for AIDS, all of these different things. And they've been working for decades, supposedly, maybe, I don't know, they say they are trying to, come up with these things, but they come up, this completely random COVID-19 pops up onto our radar, and 3 weeks later they have a vaccine for it, and we're told that that it's 100% effective. It 100%, no doubt that that's what you need to do. You need to get this vaccine. You need to protect everybody else by getting this vaccine. The bad news is it doesn't protect you. For some reason, it doesn't protect you, but it protects everyone else. So, the thought process there is pretty screwed up and tangled, and we're told to believe that the smartest people in our institutions are the ones who came up with this shit, when us down here, doctor or handymen and truck drivers and, you know, waitresses and nurses and stuff. We just using common sense can figure out that, you know, that doesn't add up. You know, and I can't make that add up in any way in reality. I can't. You know, it just doesn't add up. You're telling me that 2 plus 2 equals 17.37. You know, and you're like, no, just no. You can't make that real not in this universe. You cannot make that real. But because, you know, this whoever's saying that has got some kind of PhD or whatever, they're telling you that that's the reason it equals 17.37 is because they have a PhD and you're so much dumber than they are. And you just don't understand, right? You're just not getting it. You need to get the vaccine. That kind of shit. And that stuff, I've got a lot of questions, and just not on the whole COVID thing. You know, across the board, food, healthcare, pharmaceutical industry. All right. All right, Trip. I hope your day gets better, dude. Yeah, giving that shit to kids. That was the worst thing, Artiste, giving that shit to kids. Yeah. Yeah, Tim Beck. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. You don't have to be rich. I mean, having money is better than not having money. We can be completely honest and frank about that. It's just stupid to say, you know, that whole thing that money does not buy happiness, that whole thing. But we know that life is better with money. You know, I mean, who can argue that? You know, get something to eat if you want. You know, drive a dependable car, whatever your thing is. You know, being able to go fishing when you want, whatever. Having more leisure time because you don't have to spend so much time getting money. But money is not happiness. You know, you can be happy living under a bridge. You can. I'm not saying, you know, you must be, but you can be happy living under a bridge. Or you can be literally despising life and you know, considering self-deletion in the bedroom of a mansion. You know? So yeah, it's not the key to happiness. It can definitely be one helpful thing just to alleviate stress, you know, because a lot of our stress is money. So, but you can be happy. I think freedom is the key to happiness myself. Yeah, E equals MC squared. Yeah, God's warrior. Yeah. Yeah, just having fun, dude. Having the freedom to go out and have fun. And then a lot of times, money gives you that freedom, gives you the opportunity to have that freedom, the free time to go and do some cool shit that you enjoy, right? Yeah, that's what I was saying, Shannon. I'd rather be rich and unhappy than poor and unhappy. Yeah, hell yeah. Yep. And it is easier to be happy when you're rich. Don't get me wrong, you know, because the lack of money and the stress of bills and all that stuff, that creates a fertile environment for unhappiness. Where if you can just relieve all that stuff, you know, well, hell, even if I want to just buy 100 acres in the middle of nowhere and have a log cabin there and just have all the food and everything I need and live a very simple life. It would take money to do that, and and that money would give you the freedom to just shed all the stress of bills and all that shit. So yeah, money would definitely help you along your way, but it's just not 100% necessary. And so that's why I say, you hear that's bullshit a lot of times. Money doesn't buy happiness. But no, but it can afford you the freedom, to pursue happiness for damn sure. Yeah. And when we say money, or I'm not talking about currency. You know what I'm saying, Oliver Rust? Money is just a tool. Exactly. It's the value of whatever, the thing is. It's actually the value of your time. If you have, it's actually just time. Because if you get $10 billion, that's a whole bunch of time. Well, you set that down in your life and you have $10 billion worth of free time to go do whatever you want, right? Honestly, that if you look at it that way, that's the way it is. Money equals time. So we're talking about our time. How much of my time do I get? Or how much of my time do I have to devote to supplying myself with the basic needs of life? Now, if you have a bunch of money and that equals time, well, your whole life in front of you just opened up, unless you squander all that time and piss it away on yachts and Vegas trips and shit. Well, But yeah, the whole currency thing, we can go into that. We've been into that in the past about currency being fake and shit. Yeah. Oh yeah, Shannon, being homeless would suck. Don't get me wrong. And that's part of the thing. Money would provide you with that home, right? Now, having that home would make you happy. Now, you could be happier in a home. You have that opportunity now. You have that freedom. That frees up some things. Now, you don't have to wander around constantly, spend, a quarter of your day looking for a dry place to sleep because you have one. So that freed up that time, right? It all spins back into time. Yeah, Tripwire, exactly. That's why I actually missed the 70s so much, because I had so much free time, and my parents literally did not give a shit. I'd bust through the door, in the morning after I ate breakfast, had a bowl of cereal or whatever, and me and my brother, we'd leave and just be free to do whatever, as long as we didn't destroy someone else's property. We just had freedom and all the time in the world in front of us, and we had no stress, no bills, that's the kind of freedom that money provides, right? It buys that time, so it gives that time for you to do whatever you want, okay? And that is the kind of happiness, the potential for happiness that freedom provides. Now, you can do some dumb shit with that freedom and wreck your happiness, even though you have the money, the freedom, the time. You can have $10 billion in the bank and still make bad choices and be unhappy. You can take that freedom and go and get addicted to some illegal drugs and, be miserable. Laying up, become a heroin addict and still, be unhappy. So money does not 100% guarantee happiness, but it allows you the freedom to pursue that happiness for damn sure. Well, Artis, I hope everything works out for you, man. Well, think you should. I don't know how much we could help, but if you think about starting a GoFundMe, dude, you know, artiste, think about starting a GoFundMe. Maybe, if all of us can, throw $5 on there, it might be helpful at least. So think about that during the next live stream. Let me know, and I'll say it on here, and maybe a few of us can throw a couple bucks your way, dude, and help you out. If there's anything we're doing here, I mean, we don't want to start going down the road of where we got people jumping up here and scamming us and shit and trying to, fishing and shit. But if we have someone like Artiste or someone that's been a long time member, and we know, they contribute thoughtful comments and stuff, and then, a year into it, the dude needs help, I've got no problem, announcing that to everybody that one of us need help, and maybe we support them on a GoFundMe. We don't want new people joining in, and with from Pakistan or some shit spamming us with bullshit. But yeah, if someone honestly needs help, part of our group, I don't see anything wrong with with at least saying they need help. You don't have to help them. It's up to you. It's your choice. But I just don't see anything wrong with that. So consider that, Artiste. I'll say it on on the show, and maybe we can at least a little give you a little bit more assistance. It might help a little bit. Hell, $50, $100, better than nothing. You know what I'm saying? Can't promise you that you're going to be able to buy a house or anything like that, but shit. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't doubt it, dude. Yeah, Artiste, but think about that. Unless maybe you already have a GoFundMe, let us know. Yeah. Yeah, Trip. We've been losing. First off, we started. I read that we lost. I think it was 16 million to abortion, and then it was now drugs and all that stuff. We've lost people along the way. Oh yeah, Shannon. Yep, we've all lost people along the way, and even and good people like that. Good people get addicted to stuff, and especially during that opioid epidemic, those scumbags told everybody that stuff wasn't addictive, and now how many millions of people have died? All right, Artiste. Yeah, well, just seriously, dude, let me know. Let me know. We'll try to get you some help, dude. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with this. People need help once in a while. Shit. I'm not there's nothing to be ashamed of or anything. Sometimes some people need a leg up. Yeah, all of us have needed a leg up at one time or another. If not financially, then in some other way. So yeah. Yeah, Tim Beck, drugs were an accepted addiction, yeah. All right, Artiste, yeah, let me know, dude. Yeah, just let us know, man. We're here for you. Or, as best as we can be. Can't promise that every single person that sees it will kick in a couple bucks, but those that can, I'm sure, will at least think about it, consider it. So, hell, can't hurt to try. Yeah. Yeah, Zombie. And a lot of people did lose friends and family members to opioids, to medication that the doctors prescribed to them, Their doctors prescribed them medication to keep them healthy and to keep them, and ended up killing them. I mean, what the, when I think about that shit, it, yeah. Oh, yep. That is the common thing. Shannon started out with prescription drugs and then went to heroin. Yep. My sister-in-law, we lost my sister-in-law a few years ago for that exact same way. Yep. Yeah, Trip. Yeah, and uh for what? For what reason? Why did all this happen? Why did all of it? We've got a lot of near misses with ODs and shit, and a lot of deaths from all this stuff, and it was from these huge corporations that were cranking out opium to the masses. And are those bastards in prison now? No, they're not in prison now. They're multi-billionaires. They're rich. Would they take those drugs that they were giving us? How many of them? How many of those people died from ODs, from opioid addiction? How many of those people? Those billionaires. When's the last time you heard of a Bill Gates, dying on the curb because of opioid addiction? You don't hear that shit. They know better. Yeah. Yeah, they were prescribed. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Trip. They prescribe that shit, and it kills people. They know it. They hide it. They hide the fact that shit kills people, that it's highly addictive, and, but it's for their profits. We know the drug and pharmaceutical people, they do this shit, right? We know this. But sometimes we think that, oh, well, those billionaires are different from the billionaires that own our food, that own the food industries. Those are good billionaires. They wouldn't, put stuff in my bread or in my taco salad or whatever that might hurt me. No. You know what I'm saying? Those people are good. The billionaires that own the food industry, they're good people. They wouldn't poison me. They wouldn't spray poison all over the food, all over the vegetables and stuff. Now we got Christopher. What's up, dude? Glad to see you here, man. Yeah, I don't take that shit either. I live with a lot of pain, honestly, I just don't take that shit. It sucks, but so does ODing. But I don't have, to put it, not saying I'm super tough or anything, because I don't have like a major hip restructure surgery or anything like that. I don't have anything major, that is some of that pain. I'm not comparing myself to people who have to endure actual, real, catastrophic pain. So don't get me wrong here. I deal with pain, it's moderate shit. My elbow hurts, my neck hurts and shit because of old injuries. But I don't even like taking ibuprofen. I do once in a while, don't get me wrong, but I don't like to, for extended periods of time, take ibuprofen every day. Yeah. And the more I learn about that shit, the more I learn that the health care industry is not concerned with our health at all. The more of this shit, the more we find out, the more we learn that it's diet and exercise that would cure most of it. Most of this shit wasn't even a thing in 1890 or whatever. It didn't exist. This shit just started coming out, in the early 70s, and it's just been getting worse with their chemical manufacturing and all this shit. Holy shit, 240 pain pills in a month. I mean, you do them all in a 2-week period. Damn, old timer, yeah. Yeah, zombie. Yeah, if nothing hurts, I wonder if I'm still alive. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right, Trip. Yeah, exactly, zombie. Pharmaceutical industry wants us to be addicted to that shit. They don't. They literally don't care, right? They don't care. Uh, and people don't understand that. They're concerned with their profits. That's it. That's it. And the crazy thing to me is they've already got billions. They could live out the rest of their lives in just absolute luxury. But they don't. They want to kill us. For the sake of their stocks or whatever. And that does not make sense to me. So then that is why I dig deeper and come up with all this, something else is going on. It just does not make sense in my head where people would be, stressed out and stuff over stock tickers when they're billionaire. Why would you do that? Why would you, be stressed the hell out and, give yourself a nervous breakdown over stock prices and shit when you're a billionaire and you could just enjoy life? One or two, people like that I can see, but it's across the board. All these companies are all like that. So why? That shit blows my mind. Yeah, pain medication should scare you, Shannon. Yeah. That shit is not cool. It's not safe. It's none of that shit. I don't like any of it. Somebody said up there, aspirin, and a zombie, yeah. Aspirin, yeah, I'm okay with aspirin if it's the real thing or whatever. That's came from a tree or something. I forget now, but I've never felt any way about aspirin. I'll take a couple aspirin, shit. But all that other shit, that's about the only one that I'm comfortable taking. And even that you got to be careful with. I think it can hurt your stomach or something if you take it regularly or whatever. No, Dead Wolf, you just been acting up again and YouTube was giving you trouble, dude. You've been saying some what's that called? Unapproved. You've been typing down some unapproved shit, and YouTube put your ass in check. That's what happened. You got to toe the line. You got to make sure you check with YouTube before you write anything down. No, zombie, I've never gotten kaleidoscope vision. Willow bark, is that it? I think you're right, Christopher. I think that's what aspirin comes from. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Artis, like Lisa on The Simpsons, growing sea monkeys in a bowl. Then they got civilized and nuked the whole place. Yeah. Yeah, I think we've all been subject to YouTube's uh, control. Okay, yeah. All right, Shannon. Yeah, I heard that before, that kind of stuff messes with your stomach. Oh, all right. Yeah, that would have been messed up. Kaleidoscope vision. Yeah. I would have thought something was major wrong too. Oh, all right. Old timer. Yeah. You know enough chemistry to be dangerous, Christopher. All right. Okay. Let's see. It's time to wrap it up. So just remember, tomorrow we'll do a Halloween episode tomorrow evening. We're gonna do our episode tonight. I'm gonna have our regular Thursday evening episode at 7 p.m. tonight, but I'll do a special Halloween episode tomorrow night. So we can look forward to that. If I think about it, I'll put up, post one of those little meme things as a reminder tomorrow morning. But that's if I think about it, But I think that's going to be a cool episode. I'm going to look into the liminal spaces and stuff like that. So we'll go down that rabbit hole and check that out. That'll be fun. And I'll say goodbye to Artiste tomorrow. 7 p.m. Eastern time. Be a live stream. I'll have a regular, pre-recorded video will be posted tomorrow morning. It's about the 8 things Generation X won't do. So that'll be a cool video to check out for y'all tomorrow. I think it was fun to make. But yeah, and then 7 p.m. Eastern time, that would be 4 p.m. Pacific time. So we'll have a live stream, a live stream edition. Zombie, God's Warrior, Artiste, Shannon, Tim Beck, Mountain, Old Timer. Did I say God's Warrior? Dead Wolf Resistance, Christopher, Tripwire. I think Bucky already left us. Dog Karma already left us, I think. Who else we got? I think I said Shannon already. Joe P was on here. Was Mike Fleisner on here? Yeah, Mike Fleisner was on here. So goodbye to them as well. Dead Wolf Resistance. Alright, I think I got everybody. If I didn't get your name, I apologize. And I say goodbye to you as well. So you have to forgive me for that. It's tough because the only way I know who showed up was by scrolling through the comments. I got to just scroll up through the comments and try to find y'all. So if you haven't commented in a while, it's I got to scroll way up to try to find your name to say goodbye. Oliver Rust. Did I say Oliver Rust? Goodbye, Oliver Rust. Thank y'all for showing up. If you interested in supporting the channel, you can do so by becoming a member and getting your name on the banner down here. I appreciate all the members. I can't thank y'all enough, so thank you so much for your support. I'll put that link in the description, or you can head over to the channel page and become a member that way. The other way is you can hit the super thanks button, or you can hit the hype button. That doesn't cost anything. It's not there during the live stream, but afterwards, hopefully, to be there. But hit that hype button. That's to promote small channels like this. It's a cool thing YouTube's doing, and I appreciate YouTube doing that stuff. And I appreciate everybody who hits the hype button. So thank you very much. If you're interested in Gen X gear, stuff like this, we can fix stupid, but it's gonna hurt. If you're interested in Gen X gear like this, or Gen X Think stuff, you can head over to Redbubble and check out what we have over there. Pretty cool stuff. T-shirts, of course, baseball caps, stuff like that. I'll put that link down in the description, or you can, no, it's just in the description. And then let's see. Oh, if you have any ideas for future episodes of Gen X Thinks, you can put them down in the comments here, or you can email us, and the email is genxthinks@gmail.com. And as always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.